Hello, Truth Seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, if you have been part of mindfulness practice for long enough, and if you're still failing to figure out the truth of who you are or the plain sight truth, then you're missing the crucial step in your spiritual practice. And that crucial step is about tracing your mind backward to figure out the root cause of our struggle, and also eliminating the root altogether until there is nothing is left. That means no mind is left. And that's where we can see the plain sight truth. And not able to do that part is making us fail to figure out the plain sight truth. Isn't that true? Ask yourself, what is happening in your spiritual practice? Are you just being mindful of your mind, or the dismantling the mind is also there? Closing your eyes in your meditation and just being mindful of the mind and not trying to not to be bothered by the mind isn't going to help us to not to be bothered by the mind, especially the byproduct of the mind, which is the fear. If you're just watching the mind and not taking the step to eliminating the mind, the fear exists. And because of the fear, all our action is coming in a way that is going against the nature's way of things. This is where we are walking halfway with the mindfulness effort. This is why the mindfulness is not working. And you are making it not work because you are just ignoring the dismantling work. Definitely, look, mindfulness is helping you in so many ways in the relative world. When you are mindful of your stuff, you see things how things are, and you are letting go of certain things, you're inviting certain things, and you're making things right in a relative world. You're learning, you're growing, you're upgrading yourself in the world, in your life. And when the experience is coming in that way, you are valuing the mindfulness practice. You appreciate. And it works. Mindfulness works in the relative world tremendously. That's why this mindfulness movement is the trend now. Everybody talks about mindfulness. But if we pause and reflect, in what way the mindfulness is working, and to what extent? Yes, again, you are seeing the tremendous change in your life in the outer movement wise. But when it comes to true freedom, freedom from the fear, freedom from your mind, and the mind has so many layers, as a depression, anxiety, anger, fear, frustration, and so many other layers. Are you free from that? And the answer is no. Your outer movement is working, but the inner freedom is not there yet. And we are, missing the point that the spiritual path is about undoing the learning. Outer world, mindfulness, you are mindful and you're learning and you're rearranging your stuff and moving forward in your life. You're learning and moving forward. Spiritual path is about undoing your learning. Undoing the learning means you're undoing the mind. your mind that is holding the credential. And some of the credential in your mind is so true, and that has become the reality. Yes, it's true in the relative sense, but it's not true in the absolute sense. So we have to investigate our ingrained credential, ingrained belief in us to figure out the inner freedom. And guess what? The path hasn't even begun yet. Our so-called inward journey is just being mindful of the mind and mindful of oneself. Being mindful of the mind is not going to dissolve the fear from life, because mindful of the mind, after being mindful of the mind, and if you see the negative stuff, you're just inviting the positive layer in the mind. Yeah. Negative and positive layer are the two sides of the coin, which has to be dissolved. Negative and positive are the dual aspect of life. And to see the absolute truth, which is a non-dual. And to get there, the duality has to go there. So being mindful of the mind is not enough to get to non-dual, or rearranging the mind with the positivity is not going to help us to get to non-dual. The positivity has to go as well. We got to go beyond the negative and positive mentality. And being mindful of oneself is also not enough to dissolve the truth. That being mindful of yourself is you're connected to your bodily senses, your physical senses, then your mental senses, then your emotional sense, movement. You gotta go beyond the physical, mental, emotional clutter, the layers, to figure out the truth. And how to get there is tracing your mind backward. You're tracing the emotional backward. And that's the way to be free from our own mind. So upgrading the mind is the outer freedom. It's not an inner freedom. All mental upgrade has to go. We have to question every layers in us, so we can peel the layers until there's no more layer is left, and that is who we are. And until we have this crucial step coming in, your mindfulness is just a half-cooked approach. And yes, you can rearrange yourself in the world, but that rearranging is coming from the place of inner fear. And you have denied to look into your inner fear, and you have denied to, dissolve the inner fear. And life is, constantly in that roller coaster of highs and lows, fun and fear. And we are already ingrained in that flow. But there's a desire to be free from this roller coaster, isn't it? There's a little idea in you that I want to be free from my fear. When you are having fun, you don't see the, want to be free from the fear. But when you are struggling, you want to be free from the struggling. When you are afraid, you want to be free from your fear. Just like whatever limitation occurs in your life that creates fluctuation, you want to be free from that, isn't it? And one of the reasons you are being part of the spirituality or mindfulness is for that, for the ultimate freedom. Isn't it? The spiritual practice is there in your life is to be free from your fear for good. You're seeking ultimate freedom, but you are distracting yourself with the outer freedom. No matter how much you involve yourself in the outer freedom, that freedom will deplete, and then you seek for another freedom, then that will, deplete. And that is a non-stop movement, non-stop seeking, and it will never end. But the spiritual journey ends when you see the truth of who you are. And when you see, then you're free inside, and then your unnecessary seeking also stops, and that brings ease in your life. So again, you are failing in your mindfulness is because you're denying the crucial step of dismantling the mind. Until you invite this work and start, building the foundation on tracing the mind backward, it's not going to work to be free for good. There's no freedom from the mind until you do the work. Right now, is your mind is controlling you. When the idea comes in the mind, which the ego self is taking the driver's seat in you, and whenever the idea is there, you listen to the idea. And you move with the idea. You create something with that idea. And when the fear comes in your mind, created by the ego self, and you listen to that, and especially when the fear is there, notice how you create the narration on that fear, and you drown in that, and you struggle in that. You create a further stress in your life, and you create a stress because you don't know who you are. It always comes down to you don't know who you are, or you haven't seen the real you. And when the truth is missing, a truth of who you are is missing, the struggle is inevitable. And that is the situation right now. That is the moment. So how to be free? Just don't be mindful. After you have to be mindful, which is mindfulness is taking the seat of the observer. After taking the seat of the observer, what's next? Trace the mind, dismantle the mind. Now, how to trace the mind backward to its root and eliminating the root? So we're talking about the mindfulness, right? So you do this. Why am I practicing mindfulness? Just that. Or you can trace your fear. Why do I have fear in my life? Or why am I attached to certain things in my life? Why? Why is the start to trace the mind backward? So why am I afraid, or why am I attached to certain things? Or today, again, we're talking about mindfulness. Why am I practicing mindfulness? So allow this why to take you back to see the layers. Whatever answer comes in, you follow with why. Why is that important? Whatever answer comes in, why is that there in me? Or why is that important? So keep going back like that, and then you see the root cause of your participation, the reason you participate to anything. And then once you see the root has to be eliminated with the why as well. And keep asking why to whatever answer comes in, and keep going backward and see how far you can trace your mind back today. And again, build the habit of tracing your mind backward. That is the way to be thorough of your mind. An enlightenment journey is about being thorough of your mind. And when you are thorough of your mind, then when you ask, who am I? That's where you will see the plain sight truth. That's where you see the mind cannot comprehend the truth, and you rest in who you are as consciousness. And that is coming home. Okay, I hope this video makes sense to you. Thank you so far for supporting this channel. Keep supporting. It helps me a little bit. And yeah, that's all in this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.